starts this dark list off in at number 10. This disturbing theory about the Rugrats have been circulating around the internet for many years. A lot of you guys probably already know. Basically, it says that all of the characters from our beloved 90s cartoon series, they're all dead and they're just all figments of Angelica's diabolical imagination. Okay, wait, what? You're telling me that Tommy and Chucky are actually dead? Well, according to this theory, Chucky died in 1986 with his mother, and that's why his father is a nervous wreck. Tommy was born in 1988, but he was a stillborn. That's why his father is constantly in the basement building toys for his son that he never got a chance to live. And twins were actually aborted in the 1990. I mean, I think my childhood is literally ruined now, and it's only the start of this list. Well, Krabby Patty's meat slides onto this list at number 9. According to a fan theory on Twitter, Krabby Patty's secret formula is a kept secret for a very obvious reason. Well, his secret formula is crabs. I mean, think about it. The only other crabs that we ever see in the show.
People been saying that, but I don't know.
Himself and his mother.
He is the only crab, ain't he?
Well, I'll give you guys a hint. They're in the burger. If that is true, then that makes Mr.
That sounds like a black people thing. He sound like a sellout. Like, you want to be the only successful crab out here. Crabs in a barrel.
Mr. Krabs a cannibal, and he's just rolling in the dough. Alright guys, it actually gets worse than that. Just look at the Krusty Krab restaurant. Doesn't it look familiar to you guys? It looks exactly like a crab trap. I'm literally shook on this one. I don't think I can enjoy the show anymore. I mean, that is pretty insane, but pretty plausible. All of the Thornberrys were on drugs, and this brings us to number 8. I'm honestly not surprised with this one. First off, we have a little girl who thinks she can talk to animals, and we have a weird emo teenager, a child who is from the wild in Nigel Thornberry. I don't know, but there's something off with this guy. So this theory helps explain what's going on. In the show, they say that Eliza's spell was cast by a witch that lets her talk to animals. But I think the witch just gave her acid. I mean, this theory goes on to say that Nigel is on crack, which explains how he's so damn energetic, and Debbie might be on coke, which is why she's so irritable. She eats a lot and she never wants to be bothered. I think the Thornberrys should be sent to rehab, like, immediately. Roger from Doug was abused as a child, and this takes us to number 7. This theory tries to explain why Roger was such a bully on the show. There are a ton of people who believe that Roger's mean spirit and bullying derived from him being abused and neglected from his parents. That's why he tried to form his own family with all of the other bullies on the show. I mean, things just got real. Psychologists say just about all aggressive bullies are victims of bullying themselves, which almost always involves a family member or a close acquaintance. I never realized how serious cartoons could be until I started doing research for this video. I was like, whoa. The Fairly Oddparents flies into our list at number 6. Okay guys, prepare yourselves for this one, because this next theory will have you questioning your childhood. The Fairly Oddparents was a show about a 10-year-old boy who is neglected by his parents and tortured by his babysitter. But one day he was granted 2 fairy godparents named Cosmo and Wanda, who granted him every wish. I know growing up I watched this cartoon all the time. Well, it sounds like a miserable premise for a show, doesn't it? Well, what if I told you that these 2 godparents were actually just his imagination and the result of drugs? Well, apparently Cosmo and Wanda are metaphors for the antidepressants Zoloft and Prozac. It could also be argued that when his wishes don't go as planned, those are just the side effects of misusing the drugs. Okay, now that my childhood is over, let's move on. Alright, number 5 brings us over to the show Caillou, and let's talk about Caillou's baldness. I know I'm not the only one wondering why this whiny kid is still bald at the age of 4 years old, but as it turns out, there is a dark explanation for this. This theory has been around for years, and it says that Caillou actually has cancer. I mean, I actually kind of feel really bad for calling him a whiny kid. Although Caillou is aware that he has cancer, he uses his imagination all the time to go on adventures because he's not sure whether or not he'll be able to grow up. If that wasn't dark enough for you guys, some users actually believe that Caillou is already dead, and that's why his grandmother is the one telling stories about his life. She wants to keep the memory of her grandson alive. I mean, is this real life right now? Arnold's Parents come crashing onto this list at number 4. And of course we're talking about the show Hey Arnold. Well, according to one crazy dark theory, Hey Arnold's parents died from a drug overdose. I mean, wait, what? Well, people believe that his parents are gone because they were drug addicts, which explains why Arnold's head is disfigured. His grandparents couldn't bear to tell him the truth about their death, so they just made up a story so that his parents would look like heroes. The show is actually full of ton of dark theories, so if you guys want us to do a standalone video on this one, I mean, we could do a top 10 individually on this one. Let me know in the comment section below. And also let us know what top 10 videos you guys would like to see next in the comment section. Dora the Explorer brings us to number 3. This show has helped a ton of children learn about nature, animals, and Spanish. This show is super popular with kids. It's how I learned to say hola. But with all good things, there is also a dark side. Many people believe that Dora has some mental health issues. People believe that she is imagining all of these adventures and characters from a mental institution, and they also believe that she hallucinates a lot. That's why it could be argued that she's talking to herself and hearing voices in her head from the audience. Mr. Dink is a predator, and this scary thought brings us to number 2. What? Well, Mr. Dink, for you guys who don't know, it's a character from a show called Doug. I remember this one like a little bit. Well, he's a middle-aged man who always seems to be around Doug. He can be seen at school and at home since they're neighbors. Some might say that they have a good teacher-student relationship, but one user on Creepypasta Wiki page has a more dark conclusion to this. In his theory, he says that Mr. Dink is a creeper who is trying to groom Doug, and so now, after being a victim, Doug becomes addicted to LSD to cope with the stress. So that explains a lot of his weird daydream scenes from the show. They're all just Doug tripping after taking drugs. I guess it's a simple explanation for that one, but a pretty dark theory. Timmy is a mistreated child, and this takes us to number 1. Here's another dark theory from the Fairly Oddparents. Well, apparently Timmy is a young kid with an extremely rough life. His grandparents died in a car crash when he was younger, so that's why he imagines that they are watching over him, because his parents obviously don't care about him. Okay, but no, seriously, I think they need to call CIS on his family. His parents are so neglectful that they even hired a babysitter who physically and mentally abuses him. Oh yeah, and this dark theory goes on to say that Mr. Crocker, his mentally unstable teacher, might be a child predator who is attempting to steal his innocence. And he has made many attempts to lure him. I mean, pretty damn gross. I never knew Timmy had it so rough. I feel really bad for the kid. Right. Alright, well that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next...
Yeah, I'm so disturbed right now. Like... what y'all thought about this? Like, my childhood is so ruined right now. I'm so confused. Like, it explained... I mean, that stuff was just too... on point. Oh my gosh. I don't know what y'all thought about this. If I should do more videos like this, because that was interesting. But like, comment, hug that red button for me. If y'all got suggestions, let me know. Yeah. Bye.
I can tell from your vibe that you digging me.